welcome to another episode of Hollywood 97, where we learn how to play music at the School of Rock. I am your host, the X-Man.
Phantom Magic.
Ram Proxy.
Ronan.
And we're going to review an anime movie. Yeah, we're all anime fans, and we're going to review anime. And the anime we're reviewing is YuGiOh, Dark Side of the Dimension. So why don't we all go around and kind of talk about our history with the movie? Because as you're like us, a young millennial who been the anime fan for a long time, you probably had played Yu-Gi-Oh, still into Yu-Gi-Oh, or at least familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh. So who wants to go in with their history of Yu-Gi-Oh and what they thought of the movie?
I'm actually going to steal your thunder here for a moment, X-Man, and say that we actually do have a token Yu-Gi-Oh fan here in Phantom. So how about Phantom maybe give us a brief history on Yu-Gi-Oh and his own history on Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
Alright, so Yu-Gi-Oh started back in, I believe, around like 1996 with their first like manga and anime adaptation by Toei Animation. That original anime never really came to the West, but it did get a fan translation in the form of Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0. And it was a more, unlike the Yu-Gi-Oh! We're familiar with today, it's a lot more darker, a lot more kind of like a gritty take on the series, where the original plan for Yu-Gi-Oh! Was to be basically an anime / manga about like games and nerd culture in general. And it was kind of also like meant to be more like a horror-esque manga, and it's why Yugi, like Yami Yugi, is so like sadistic and kind of creepy. But the aspect that took off the most was the chapter where Kaiba was introduced and the game of Duel Monsters was played, and a lot of kids saw that and were like, hey, can you make this into a real thing? So at first, Bandai got the rights to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, and the game itself was not very good at first because there weren't really any like actual rules to the game, and kids mostly collected them for the cards themselves. However, later on, Konami got the rights to Yu-Gi-Oh! And then revamped the whole card game to where it is today, and now it's like one of, if not the biggest trading card game out right now.
Now that it has rules.
Yes, now that it has
And it
rules
makes money.
and events. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in its own way a cultural phenomenon, I guess. But like for my personal history of Yu-Gi-Oh, I grew up watching Duel Monsters when I was very young. I collected the cards. I didn't play the cards at the time because I just didn't know how to. But I do remember like whenever Yu-Gi-Oh aired on TV, I would have my cards with me. So it's like, oh, I'm actually watching. I'm like watching the show while having my cards next to me and pretending I'm also like playing the game as well. I got into the actual card game though way later when I started my freshman year of college. A couple of friends were like, "Hey, you should try getting into Yu-Gi-Oh!" So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll give it a try again. And I rewatched the show, got back into the card game, and it's become probably my favorite hobby of all time.
So yeah, my history with Yu-Gi-Oh is very similar to Lewis. I was a major Yu-Gi-Oh fan growing up. I distinctly remember the TV show, the anime series that everybody knew from when I was like 5, and I was collecting the cards from then. Didn't really play Yu-Gi-Oh because also I didn't know how to play it either, and didn't really have anyone else to play it with. But I collected the cards a lot. Kind of fell out of it when I was about 9 or 10, right when the second theory, the dual school theories came around.
GX.
Yeah, and basically I was kind of dormant with Yu-Gi-Oh up until this year when I discovered the Season 0 anime. Never heard of it before, wondered what it was like, and then just learning a lot more about the history of Yu-Gi-Oh and just how batshit crazy its history is, because Yu-Gi-Oh is a weird franchise when you know its history, like what Phantom Magic explained. And yeah, now I'm trying to get back into collecting the cards again.
I guess I'll give my history. My history with Yu-Gi-Oh is actually very brief. Back in elementary school, it would play pretty much every morning. This must have been when I was about around 6, actually. Um, and I would watch it, and I would watch it if I caught it on, but I never watched a single episode from beginning to end. It was basically something that my dad would just turn on for entertainment. Other than that, I really don't have that much of a history with Yu-Gi-Oh. The only reason why I have any type of knowledge of Yu-Gi-Oh whatsoever is through Phantom Magic. So, yeah, that's really about it. But I will say that, um, I have tried to get into Yu-Gi-Oh a few times, and I'm still, on and off when it comes to getting into Yu-Gi-Oh. This is both the card game and the anime, by the way. But I am thinking about reading the Season Zero manga and the Duel Monsters manga.
Actually,
Even though I know that they are one thing similar to that of Dragon Ball.
that's one more thing I forgot to explain. Yeah, the manga was the very first manga I ever read. Like,
Ooh,
I didn't know it was. So
wow.
like when I found a manga in the library, I was like, wait, it's a book? It's a comic book? So
That's
yeah,
what
that's
I
one.
said with Dragon Ball when I first found out about the Dragon Ball manga.
Right. North Ronin?
Yeah, I've. So as a Saturday, and then when I learned, oh, this is a game you can play. This is something that it was almost my first taste of, like, I guess, a show that had any kind of semblance beyond just the TV screen. It was, I mean, obviously, characters have action figures and whatnot, but yeah, the game overall just kind of gives you a way to connect with the narrative, a way that just bashing together action figures in your own personal narrative doesn't quite capture the same way.
Yeah.
It really
Nah,
doesn't.
I agree. Like Yu-Gi-Oh was like honestly like one of the very few shows, if not the only like anime where you can technically kind of do the same thing in real life.
He is. No, you
Like, you
are
added up
right.
holograms,
I mean,
but like
you
still,
won't get your soul absorbed by playing this card game.
Yeah.
As cool
I
as
mean,
it would
As
be
cool as
if you
those
could do.
stakes would. Well, actually, I would like Phantom to attest to that.
well, I mean, in a weird way, you're giving your soul away to Konami, who's gonna take all your money away when you get
That
when you
is
get too deep
true.
into the hole. But yeah, but no, you will not actually die from playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Uh,
That is true. Konami did take a lot of my money in Chinatown.
Let me tell you, they've taken a
Yeah.
lot of my money, and I'm very angry about it.
so let's get into the movies, because the movie. So I'm gonna let Phantom Magic explain, because the movie's continuity is a little weird to what I understood about it. It was
So
to be based on it's supposed to be the finale to the manga, but it feels more like a finale to the show.
so according to Kazuki Takahashi, the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, Dark Side Dimensions is the sequel and conclusion to the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, and 4Kids claim that it's actually the conclusion to the anime.
They're still
Now, the problem with that, there's one major problem with that, with saying that it's a conclusion to the anime. So, in the anime, we see Yugi and Kaiba. I mean, it's not Yugi and Kaiba. Yugi and Atem duel at the temple, and Kaiba and Mokuba are there to witness it.
Yeah.
In the manga, they have the same duel, but Kaiba and Mokuba are not present at that moment. Therefore, Kaiba never saw Yugi defeat the Pharaoh, and that's why Kaiba is so keen on resurrecting the Pharaoh, because he doesn't know why the Pharaoh disappeared.
I vaguely remember in the show that Yugi and the Pharaoh battle at the last episode, and that was confusing me that it was set that it's supposed to be the ending to the manga. And if that's what's true, then that means this film still canonically take place in the 90s.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. When it comes to like canonically in terms like year wise, so from what I know, this movie takes place I think a year after the duel between Pharaoh and Atem. And okay, when it
Pharaoh
comes to
and
the canon
Atem?
of year wise,
I like how you said the
it's
Pharaoh
very
and
confusing
Atem.
because in Duel Monsters we see that VHS tapes are still used. Yet here in Dark Side Dimensions, Kaiba can create a giant space station and all this like hyper advanced technology. But again, I think it's just meant to show how much of a genius Kaiba is. Basically, that he can create all this like stuff in the year like 2000, basically.
Yeah, because I remember watching a video by a YouTuber's mother's basement about it, and he was exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Mother's base. Yeah, it's like.
I actually never watched
And
that
it's
video.
like, yeah, like how does this work? Like, how is Kaiba able to make all this stuff in the year like in like the early 2000s?
Because he's
Right.
an
And
asshole.
it's just like,
That's why.
it's like
Think
just
about
don't.
it.
I'm just like, just don't question it. Don't question the logic behind Yugi in
Okay.
terms of like real, like in terms of like the actual like world of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, just don't question it.
Yeah.
You
Because
know
if you
what?
really look into it,
He's
it's
not
actually
just
kind
a-
of messed up.
Yeah, because he's not just an evil genius, he's an anime evil genius. Nothing
He's
is.
literally.
Is he really
he's
evil
basically
though? I
anime-
feel like he's just more of an ass. I just feel like he's more of a
He's
rich
not evil.
asshole.
He's basically anime. He's anime Steve Jobs.
Anime.
No,
That is like the
actually,
best way to
he's
describe
like
Kaiba. He is anime Steve
he's a
Jobs.
cross between Elon Musk, Richard Branson, and Jeff Bezos.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a
No, but I
cross
think
Fire
what Steve
whoever
Jobs- because, like,
designed that
Here's
bottle.
the thing. Steve
He's
Jobs is a dick. Was also a dick. So like you
Yeah.
know.
He's
Not
a
to
cross
mention, like-
between
But we are talking.
Elon.
Go ahead, North Ronan.
He's a cross between Elon Musk and Chris Angel with his getup and everything.
Can I
Yeah.
talk about the fact that he wanted someone fired because they designed a faulty bottle? Did you see that fucking bottle? That was one of the coolest looking bottles I've ever seen. And you want to fire a man for making a bottle? What?
But that's a very Steve Jobs mentality, though.
Yeah, that is. And I
As a
actually really
person
like-
who went,
no,
and as someone who
because
went to
Kaiba's all about
design school,
perfection.
and as
Right.
someone who went to design school, that was not a well-designed bottle.
Yeah.
That thing looked wasteful as hell.
And
Probably.
so,
But again, Kaiba's all about the perfection.
so, what do you guys think of the movie?
Oh, I thought it was great.
Oh yeah.
I love this movie.
I thought it was pretty.
Like-
Yeah.
Bottle design aside, the movie was.
See, what I love about this movie is I kind of went into this with very minimal, I don't want to say very minimal, but minimal Yu-Gi-Oh knowledge, and even then I thoroughly enjoyed it. I very
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed it. That's my favorite part about this movie is I feel like you can go in knowing absolutely nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh and still enjoy the movie for what, and even then you'll still enjoy the movie for what it is.
I liked it okay. Mainly because it's an anime movie based on an anime series, so I don't have much opinion of it. Like, the Yu-Gi-Oh movie I saw was Pyramid of Light, And again, I saw it now because I haven't seen it since I was 8. But if I saw it now, I probably wouldn't have much of an opinion of it because it's still based on an anime TV show. So like, I liked it fine. I got like real nostalgic when Kaiba said "Blue Eye White Dragon." I was like, oh man, that took me back.
Yo, that
Those 4 words, and that and Dark Magician.
Yeah,
How about Dark Magician Girl?
yeah.
That one may be for you specifically.
I think I just want everyone to know that I am very thirsty for pretty much actually everyone that has to do with Dark Magician Girl. This includes Dark Magician Girl herself, Apple Magician Girl, Lemon Magician Girl, Chocolate Magician Girl, all the frickin' fruits.
All the gals.
Well, one of my frickin' favorite lines in that entire movie is, "You plan to face me with fruit?"
Did you guys notice the Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl cosplay in the crowd?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did. I think that was was that an Apple Magician Girl? Actually,
I don't know.
Maybe.
I thought Dark.
But you know what's what's my favorite Easter egg though in the crowd scene?
Yeah.
If you look closely, you can actually see Weevil and Rex.
Oh, for real?
Really?
Yeah, you can actually see Weevil and Rex in the crowd. I was like, oh, that is so cool.
Yeah,
That's
Rex
pretty
is
sick,
Actually,
actually.
all the Easter eggs in this, I actually love all the Easter eggs here because, like, for one thing, there's even an Easter egg from season 0.
Oh, word.
There's a season 0 Easter egg and there's a manga Easter egg.
Okay.
Really?
So the season
Wow.
0 Easter egg is the gym teacher who was basically one of the villains in season 0.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
And the manga Easter egg is Duke Devlin's dad, who is the clown.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we never see Duke's dad in the anime or season 0, but in the manga, Duke's dad tries to basically ruin Yugi's grandpa, basically.
Yeah. But dude, Rex is basically me as a duelist. If I was a Yu-Gi-Oh duelist, I'd be Rex.
Yeah, no, dinosaur.
Yeah,
I know, right?
it's like me. I'm the dino.
Actually, I have a question. Phantom, who do you think I would be as a Yu-Gi-Oh duelist?
Joey.
If we're going all I would say probably the most likely is maybe like Cyrus from GX.
Cyrus?
Okay, the Cyrus is literally like the simp.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fitting. That's very fitting. That's very... When you know what was not the thing that I did was the thing that was in bad taste for Yu-Gi-Oh in this movie is that Kaiba used his pandemic dragon. Brought out a pandemic dragon. I'm like, bro, Kaiba, that's not even funny anymore.
This movie was made in 2016. What do you want to do?
I mean, damn, Kaiba, that was just real uncomfortable to watch now in 20.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't even hear what.
At least you didn't use Crush Card Virus.
Yeah, at first.
Crush Card Virus.
Dragon? And it was just like, I was like, oh my god, he really mean pandemic dragon. It's not funny, Kaiba.
2016, X-Man, 2016.
It's super uncomfortable. Well, it's super uncomfortable to watch in 2021.
How was he supposed to know that there was going to be a pandemic in 2020?
So, like, I mean, when watching this movie, it just shows how fucking scary the absurdity of Kaiba is. Like, it's just like, I like how in the movie they do play up how absurd Sato Kaiba is, just not even as a character, but just as a concept itself.
Yeah.
He advanced human civilization just to beat one kid at a card game.
Yeah.
Okay, can I just say this about Kaiba?
Anime problems,
And Kaiba's also like a high schooler.
And
that's another thing.
I think was the best Kaiba line ever in Yu-Gi-Oh.
You fight me with fruit.
The second season, I think it was Duelist Kingdom, where they were making sure there was security for the tournament, and Kaiba told his brother Mokuba to be like, if anyone's late, they're disqualified. Make sure Joey's late, right in front of Joey. And I'm just like,
I love that line.
savage.
I love that line.
I have to. Oh God. Okay,
I love
Phantom.
that
Tell me
line.
that
That
line
line
is
is
in the manga,
amazing.
please.
He's like,
That line is actually amazing.
Wait, Phantom.
I
Tell me
love
that
how
line is in the manga,
Kaiba goes
please.
out of his way. I love how Kaiba goes out of his way to like not let Joey play the game.
he was like,
But no, like, I think my favorite Kaiba line might be, if all else fails, just or no, like Mokuba. How many times do I have to tell you? If you fail once, just blast them with your blue eyes again.
Oh my God.
Mokuba.
Oh my
Make
god.
sure anyone who's late is he's like, make sure anyone who's late is disqualified. Mokuba, make sure Wheeler is late, right?
Can I also
I
just
love that.
mention the fact that in this very movie, Kaiba killed a man and risked the lives of thousands of people to make an entrance and advertise his product.
Yeah.
That is the
Kaiba
kind of
literally just-
asshole we're dealing with.
Like, I think when Kaiba, because I keep forgetting how much of the Blue White Dragon that Kaiba's trademark monster, and I'm just like, it's always him being Blue White Dragon. How many variation of Blue White Dragons can he have?
I mean, to be fair, so the reason why there actually is a reason why Kaiba's obsessed with blue eyes.
Mhm.
There's two big reasons actually. One, blue eyes kind of represents power,
Yeah,
and as a kid, that's something he never had.
yeah.
So when he finally had it, that's what he cherished it so much, and that's why he's obsessed with blue eyes. But also, blue eyes, his actual spirit resembles Kisara, which basically was like the love life of his ancestor.
Right.
Oh,
So like
wow.
yeah, blue eyes is a girl.
I have a blue-eyed white dragon childhood story that I'm gonna tell you guys.
So wait,
That
Hank, you're telling me that he's in love with the dragon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because well, to be fair, that dragon
I mean, they're
used to
sexy
be
beasts,
like a
all of
woman.
them.
it's like Trek. If you can take Donkey and the dragon from Trek, you can be fine with this.
Yeah, okay, I guess you're right.
I have a blue eyes white dragon story from childhood that I can't believe I never told you guys about. That haunts me till this day.
Yep.
So when I was like, I want to say like 9 or 10 years old, my aunt got me a blue eyed ultimate dragon statue.
Oh.
Yeah, the 3-headed one. And I
Whoa.
got that, and I was super excited for it. So throughout the
Sounds
weekend,
awesome.
but the catch was it was those assembly piece ones, so you have to put it together. So
I think I know what you're talking about.
I spent all weekend putting it together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw I was done, right? Made sure every piece. I think I had to glue it on every piece. I made sure every single piece of that ultimate dragon was intact and fine. The Monday morning, when I checked on that piece, the thing I worked on for 72 hours, it all fell apart.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Have you guys ever heard of a movie called Somewhere in Time?
I don't think I have actually.
It was Christopher Reeve from Superman. It was like a movie where so there's a scene in that movie where Christopher Reeve gets a picture from his house when he was a kid, right? He holds the picture and the picture transforms into a wormhole and he goes back, right? I have to say, if I was Christopher Reeve somewhere in time and someone gave me that box of the Blue Eye Ultimate Dragon, I swear to God, it would send me into a wormhole to that horrible weekend where I spent my whole weekend building the Blue Eye White Dragon statue and it fell apart.
Also, very much like Kaiba when trying to reconstruct the Millennium Puzzle.
No, at least me, I managed to find the assembled piece.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That-
Oh man, nah, that
And
must
also,
have
do you need?
sucked.
That
Plus, I'm
that-
looking at
I know.
Kayaba when he's putting that thing together, and I'm thinking, do you really need a machine? It's a puzzle.
Yeah.
It'd take too long. It's a big puzzle. It would take too long.
I mean, it took Yugi a long. Apparently, it took Yugi, I think, like 3 years to finish it, though.
Are
Like
you
in
sure
the
it wasn't
original
longer
manga,
than that?
or maybe like longer than that. I don't remember exactly how long
It
it
was-
took Yugi to finish it, but it took Yugi a really long time to finish the puzzle. So that's why he made a machine to actually like have the puzzle be built as soon as possible.
You know what speaking of which, I love how Kaiba's technology is even strong enough to take on the or I guess the magic of the power of a Millennium item.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what is essentially a Millennium item. I don't know, like, I just thought that was pretty freaking awesome. So, honestly, if it took Yugi 3+ years to finish the Millennium Puzzle, imagine how quickly it must have finished that thing.
Dude,
That-
Kaiba space station to assemble a puzzle game, and the Earth is dying right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from that,
I mean, again,
Kayaba's
that's
basically
not part of
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Kaiba's worry.
Aside from
Like, oh, sorry.
that, Kaya basically Yu-Gi-Oh Batman.
uh,
He stands
Pretty
up to gods themselves with nothing but time and money.
oh, but, okay,
Yeah, but
oh, go ahead.
like Kaiba uses all that money and investment only for card games, and specifically now just to fight the Pharaoh.
By the way,
And
okay,
again,
let's talk about that. I want to talk about that and just how much Kaiba reminds me of Vegeta. Okay, he is... No? What do you mean? No? Dude,
No more deep analysts.
we are talking about an anime movie. Why not relate it to another anime?
I mean, I get what you're saying because they're both arch rivals.
No. I don't think you get it. Do you understand how obsessed Vegeta was with fighting Goku and beating him?
Yeah.
They are both driven kind of the same way.
They
Yeah.
are.
yeah,
That like Vegeta is just as obsessed, if not Kaiba is a little bit more so, obsessed with killing their rival. Like, it's not even the fact that they're both arch rivals, it's the fact that they're both so obsessed with beating their arch rival. Like, hell, Vegeta killed an entire... How many people did he kill in the Buu Saga? He must have killed, like, hundreds of people at least, just to fight Goku in the Buu Saga. Now, you could argue that he was under Babidi's influence, but at the same time, he was under control. He was very much under control at that point in time. So, honestly, yeah, he is... I love just how much, like, Kaiba is like Vegeta.
although Kaiba literally went to the afterlife just to fight Ten again.
Yeah.
I love that ending. That ending, I think, was like the biggest shocker to me.
Yeah.
Where Kaiba is so crazy that he went to the afterlife itself just to duel Atem.
He pretty much... He essentially killed himself.
Yeah. And here's the thing. That's
Yeah,
actually another thing. Well, that's actually another reason why I prefer considering it a manga sequel, because so in the anime, this could work both ways, because if it's the anime version, the anime canon, then it would be confirmed that Kaiba did come back because he comes back in GX. But if you consider it a manga canon, because the GX manga and anime are completely different, who knows if Kaiba actually came back alive?
Right.
He could have actually died and left everything to Mokuba.
That's funny to me that he left everything to his little brother, and it's like his little brother is around the world like little Tay from YouTube.
I mean, that is the only person he ever trusts, though. Like Mokuba is the only person Kaiba actually trusts. So, in fact, that is the only like when you really think about it, Mokuba is the only person that's preventing Kaiba from being
And evil.
like 100% insane.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like he is the only he's like the only person where Kaiba actually acts human towards.
Right. So another thing I wanted to talk about, I thought though the villain
Yeah.
the villain to me is a little boring. I don't really care.
Really? You
Yeah.
thought
That's
so?
interesting.
Huh.
I like his monsters, but his monsters look like the God hand from Berserk. That took me out. I'm like,
They kind of do. They actually kind of. They kind of look like Griffith's necklace a little bit.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm like from Berserk. You got anything else? Like, does he just have anything else other than that?
Well, for me, it wasn't necessarily his monsters, but I really, really loved his backstory and motive.
Yeah, I think what makes Aigami a really interesting character for me. So like I will say he's not my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh villain. Like I still think a lot of the villains from the main series are overall more like impactful, like Marek, Bakura,
Yeah.
and like Pegasus. But like for a movie villain, I think he's definitely by far the best movie villain we've had for Yu-Gi-Oh. And again, I actually really do like the fact that he has this whole backstory, and the fact that they managed to cram so much backstory for a character in a movie.
And
And,
that
and
just
not make and not have it feel rushed either. Like it didn't feel all that
Yeah.
rushed. I didn't feel.
I guess to
Mhm.
me he felt too much like an optical, and that the movie kind of needed a plot to keep going.
I
I can
disagree.
see.
Well, I disagree because the thing is, with him, I felt that I see what you mean, with that, especially considering the fact that the Millennium Ring ended up being the final hurdle that our heroes, that everyone needed to, that ever, basically the Millennium Ring was the final boss of this
Yeah.
of this movie. But even so, I still feel like it was mainly it was okay, go ahead, Phantom, because I'm stumbling over my words.
Okay. So I can kind of see your point, but at the same time, like, for one thing, I think it's kind of important that we get because I think actually a very important thing about Aigami is that it also gives closure to Bakura's story because because Bakura like real like the real Bakura
Yeah.
in the anime and even in the manga really didn't have a lot going for him. Like he didn't have a lot of story to him because he was constantly being possessed by the Millennium Ring, and we never really got a lot of backstory behind him. Like we know that he got the Millennium Ring through his father because his father was a traveling not a traveling salesman, but he was basically
He was another,
like searching
like,
for the ring.
yeah. Wasn't he like a seller of rare and mystical things or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. But like, we never really got much info on Bakura in any adaptation. Actually, like even in season 0, we barely learned any. In season 0, it's even worse because Bakura doesn't even appear until the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, throughout the series, like Bakura always took this backseat, and it was always about it was always about Yami Bakura, and at the end of the series, he's the final villain.
Yeah.
So like I'm really glad that they actually did that. They gave him like an opportunity to actually become a character, and kind of give him an actual proper conclusion. But like Aigami himself, I think overall he works as a villain because for one thing you kind of do need. I feel like this movie wouldn't work without him because he is like the key. I think he is like the other key piece for the film. Like I would say the 3 primary characters for this movie are Yugi, Kaiba, and Aigami.
And I felt like Yugi had like the least amount of agency in the movie for like
Yeah.
like it was not it was like I feel like he wasn't as much of a main focus in the movie as much as Kaiba and Goyami.
Which I thought was okay.
I think that was the point too, because like Yugi's story is basically done,
Done. Yeah.
and it's mainly about like for one thing, Kaiba is considered by many to be the most interesting character in the show, which I actually do agree. I think Kaiba is. He's definitely more interesting than regular Yugi. I'll say that.
Mhm.
And I like you, and I actually like regular Yugi. But like, yeah, the story would not work without Kaiba, obviously. And Yugi's kind of just there to basically, I guess, connect everyone because he is. He was the vessel of the pharaoh.
Mhm.
I am gonna say this about Aigami, so this is what I wanted to get out there, is the fact that the reason why I love him so much as a character is I just ended up feeling sorry for him. And
Mhm.
plus, honestly, what he does, like, him wanting to not just extinguish humanity, but create a better world for not really for, it's more of a better world for himself rather than everybody. Like, his motives are completely selfish, but to be honest
Mhm.
with you, I can't blame him for being so clouded by hatred either, despite what his master told him.
And speaking
Mhm.
of the master, remember that scene when he's at the mall? His master gave him the exact same speech that Yoda gave Anakin in the Phantom Menace, word
Yeah.
by word.
Pretty
Yeah, I
much.
mean, I also really like the fact that his master is Shadi because Shadi was another character in the anime who had a pretty big role, but also
Yeah.
kind of. But a lot of people kind of forget about Shadi because
Yeah.
he's not as because for one thing he never duels in the entire series,
I'm actually surprised.
and he's always kind of like this mysterious character where you actually like in the actual anime you never really know if he's actually good or evil until like the very end.
When I first started watching season 0, I was surprised he was actually in it.
Yeah, I know. Shadi is at. No, Shadi has been planned since the very beginning. Like Shadi is, um, he's basically kind of like the one is like kind of like watching over Yugi and seeing how the Pharaoh journey goes. In fact, the reason why he even gave Pegasus the Millennium Item to begin with was so that he can actually create the card game.
Right.
Oh wow.
And speaking of the card games, this movie made me realize how like because like why maybe why the cards did so well in real life because like the duel scenes in Yu-Gi-Oh, they make it so exciting and dramatic, and you have the holographic monsters because
Mm-hmm.
you ever play Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid or as an adult, like you're just imitating what you're seeing on the anime because you play it. It's like it can be kind of fucking boring in a sense that it's not as exciting in the anime.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I would like to
it's an
ask,
actual.
actually, Phantom, how is it in a more competitive sense?
So, I would say I personally do have a lot of fun playing the card game. Um, if you're watching it as an outsider, it probably will seem kind of boring because you're just watching people play cards and you don't really know what's going on. But like what the anime does so well is that they make it so exciting despite the fact that they're playing a card game. And in fact, like they actually do have like choreographers, like actual like choreographers writing out how the duels should be set up.
Oh wow!
In fact, I think YuGiOh has had basically the same choreographer for throughout the whole series, like
Wow!
in every spinoff. Even now, despite the fact that Gallop is no longer animating Yu-Gi-Oh, they still have the same choreographer because he's been doing such a good job at just choreographing the duels, and it's like the main like selling point for the series.
It's kind of funny when you look back at children's TV shows like from the 80s, like Transformers, He-Man, GI Joe. Like people were complaining those shows were just to sell toys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the 90s was no better because we had Yu-Gi-Oh, and it was just like the main series was just to sell cards.
Yeah, I mean I feel like every generation kind of has a series like that though because yeah, like there are shows that are basically meant to be commercials.
Yeah.
And that's not really I don't think that's really a bad thing either because like
Hell, look at
if you
Transformers 1986.
Yeah.
That movie that we reviewed not too long ago.
Yeah. was not ashamed of it at all either.
It's a
Honestly.
beautiful movie. So.
Right.
You got the touch.
Oh my god.
Kind of hated about the movie about how the monsters were all kind of CG looking, and it's like it looks kind of dull to me because I don't like the CG look, and like I seen that being mecha anime now, it just looks dull.
Because we
Yeah,
know
I mean,
it
the CG
doesn't
look,
have to look that way.
No, I don't.
it's I will say, like, I don't necessarily hate it.
Mm,
I do still prefer the more traditional art style.
yeah,
But like, it's I mean, to be fair, the cards that they printed for Dark Side Dimensions also do have that CG look. And on the actual cards itself, some of them look good. Some of them I'm like, I'd rather not.
yeah, and they're
Like, I'd rather have the original
Yeah.
like style to it.
exactly like
But yeah, I mean, the CGI, for me, I don't necessarily mind it, but I can see why it can be a down. It can be like a turn off for some people.
right.
But I will say one thing I absolutely love about the movie though is the actual animation for the characters.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
yeah, go.
while it's not as amazing as I once thought it was,
Hello?
I still think it's really, really good.
Hello?
But like after watching more anime, like I realized animation has come a long way.
Sorry
But
about
the thing
that.
I love about the
I'm
animation
back.
for this movie though,
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, like,
the thing I love about the animation for this movie though is just it shows how much Takahashi has improved as an artist, and it shows like because this is capturing more of his modern style art than what his art was like back then. Because if you look at the older like Yu-Gi-Oh mangas, like the art on those are pretty bad. Like they're pretty outdated, and they look kind of amateurish. But like if you look at Takahashi's art right now, it's so much better, and it has its own distinct style, which is something I always love about Yu-Gi-Oh. Is that Yu-Gi-Oh always had its own style, and here it just like shows it off like beautifully, and it really does. It really looks like modern Takahashi coming to life.
right. I'm surprised. I keep forgetting that Yugi hit a growth spurt like near the end of the series, and it's like what? And I was like, why does Yugi look so different? But I'm like, oh right, he hit a growth spurt at the end of the series.
Yeah.
Even Tay.
It
Actually,
happened sometime.
Taya's
Honestly, I love
breasts
actually
got okay, that
regarding
sounded
Yugi.
creepy. That sounded creepy, and I'm never gonna talk like that again. I am never gonna talk like that again. That was
Yeah,
creepy.
but another scene I love regarding Yugi though is a scene where he literally just threatens Kaiba.
Yeah,
Like even now when we watched, I was like, man, Yugi got balls. Like
No, Yugi's different,
Yugi
dude.
has some serious balls. Like he literally just shit talked on. He literally just straight up like said like Kaiba like, let me duel him, otherwise I'm leaving.
like even Taya looks.
He's learned from me.
Like she looks like she was kind of like redesigned.
Yeah,
breasts
a lot of
also
characters
got
got
bigger.
redesigned.
Her breasts also got bigger.
Yeah. But no, again, I think it's mainly because Takahashi improved a lot since then. Again, a lot of his earlier stuff doesn't look as good.
Oh,
but
can
his newer stuff, oh yeah, sure.
Did you guys talk about the voice acting while I was on the phone?
No,
no.
But that's what I wanted to
Okay,
ask.
so I watched it in English. I don't know about you guys, but I watched it in English.
As did I.
Yeah, I kind of assumed you were all gonna watch it in English, so I watched it in English as well.
So I just want to talk about well, first of all, Phantom, I would like you to talk about YuGiOh's English dub history.
Well, as you guys may know, 4Kids dub Yu-Gi-Oh, and 4Kids is notorious for making horrible dubs.
Yeah, putting a rice ball replacing donuts and rice ball with Pikachu eating a donut.
Yeah.
You know the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
But why didn't they
Yeah,
just
like
make a
4
donut?
kids.
But
Is
why
it the original 4 kid? It's the original 4 kid cast, right?
No, but why not just make it a donut?
Yeah.
Why show me a rice ball and say it's a donut?
It's the original 4 kid cast, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's the original cast. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering. I was trying to make sure. I mean, that's again, I don't have a big problem with it because I grew up with the 4 kid dub and nostalgia for me, so I don't really care.
I'm gonna be on. Oh, go ahead.
And it's not as horrendous as what it would have been with the show.
I'm just gonna say this. I thought, well, first of all, now let's talk about the fact that when they dubbed Yu-Gi-Oh years ago, um these people were amateurs. Like, they did not know what they were doing. Now in 2016, they're gonna be they're obviously gonna have more training. They're gonna have more experience, and I'm gonna tell you, this was a great dub. Like, I'm gonna say this right now. I thought the voice acting in this was actually really fucking good. Like, I thought the voice acting was really, 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 really good. This is the voice acting that I would have wanted to hear in a
It's the
Yu-Gi-Oh dub.
perfect amount. It's the perfect amount
I
of
think,
just
yeah.
hammy and epic and aggrandized. It's everything we want in an anime dub.
And plus also, what makes 4 Kids dub so bad is, I'll leave the floor to Phantom, since he's...
I mean, what makes it bad is obviously the censorship. I think that's what really kills it. But I will say, like, yeah, I think the voice acting it definitely got a lot better over time. Although I will say, I still think the best voice acting, the best voice character was actually Aigami in this movie.
I agree. Oh yeah, wasn't he voiced by
He's actually a newer, he's a newer voice actor. I forgot his name,
He did
but
that.
I know he also voiced 2 characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains dub. And I thought he was really good in this on those two. But in this movie,
Really?
yeah,
Oh, wait, didn't you say
He
he
voiced-
voiced
so he's been
Revolver
around.
and Go, right?
yeah, he voiced Revolver and Go in Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains. Oh, he also voiced Dennis in Yu-Gi-Oh! in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 dub. Yeah.
He did that anime cliche. His character did that anime cliche where it's like he had that really soft spoken voice, and then when he's evil, it just changed to that really soft, gruff sounding voice. Like I was just thinking, like how many anime characters have I seen do that?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I feel like he still did it really well though. Like,
Yeah.
and
I do want
I
to say
mean,
this real
yeah,
quickly.
it's kind of a cliche, but like a lot of anime. To be fair, a lot of anime villains kind of have that cliche. Like it's either like almost every anime villain well, not almost every, but like a good amount, especially in shonen, are gonna either be the big buff bad guy, or they're gonna be, I guess, something like Ayagami, where it's like, yeah, when he's like not trying to be evil, he sounds very normal, but when he is, you kind of have that sinister tone to his voice.
It is a big shonen trope. I can
Yeah.
tell you that right now. But one thing that I will say, by the way, about this, one more thing about the dub is, and this is something that I was, because this is my second time watching the movie. What I was surprised to see my first time watching the movie was absolutely no censorship. Like, there was no censorship, or no stupid unnecessary censorship. No censorship at all. So that is something that I was very happy to see, because there was a gun in this movie. A gun.
Mm-hmm.
Something that would have never gotten past the stupid point, this stupid thing. So, so they had a gun in this movie. That is how you know, okay, yeah, they're not gonna dub anything. Plus, thank God Tristan's voice actor did not sound like Barney the dinosaur. That bothered me. That has always bothered me.
Okay. That only happened in like the first few episodes of season 1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But why?
His voice
Why
actor,
did he sound like
I think
Barney?
the Barney voice was actually, I think that might have been a different voice actor, but then they switched it to his current voice actor. So no, that's only for like the first 2 episodes, first like few episodes of season 1.
Because I know that he that it was the same voice actor in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. He voiced what was his name again?
Oh no, he voiced Yusei in 5Ds.
Thank you. It was you say. Did I say Arc 5?
Hmm.
I meant to say 5Ds. My bad. Because he sounds like a completely different person. Like I never would have guessed that that was Tristan's voice actor, unless you
Yeah.
told me.
If I had one problem with the film, I think it was too long. It was
Um.
like when I was gonna check it out, it was like I was expecting it to be an hour and 30 minutes. It was 2 hours, and it kind of shows because I felt like certain scenes kind of been cut down. Like
I think my issue,
Uh.
my personal issue, isn't actually that the length. It's more so some of the pacing feels a bit off.
some of the pacing, it just felt too long with the pace. Like there was scene, I feel like the part where they had to find Bakura, that whole part, that could have been cut down a little bit more because it felt like it went on forever.
I mean, for me,
That wasn't really
I
an
didn't feel
issue
like
of
it ever
mine.
went on forever.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, I think some of the pacing is a bit like I kind of wish like my biggest issues are mainly the pacing, especially like towards the end where you just see Yugi graduate, and then the last we see of Yugi and gang is when Taya leaves, and that's it, and it kind of like cuts off from there, and we never see what happens between Yugi and the others. We just see what happens with Taya.
I think that
I think
really have a problem with that. I don't think you really need that. I think like other scenes could have just been cut down.
Well, this is the last Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters related movie, so I feel like you could at least show us, what they're doing and,
yeah, I
how
kind
their
of wish we kind of saw
how
what
their
everyone
futures
else.
are, how their futures are.
Yeah,
But they explained what they were gonna do.
Yeah, but why not
they
show
he
us though?
explained it, yeah, but I
Show,
kind of
don't
wish we could
tell.
see. Yeah, I'd rather they show it to us, especially like because
Especially with Taya, cause
I
she's
kind of
moving out.
we
Like,
got
like why not show us something with, why not show us what Taya's doing since she's gone?
well maybe not that. I don't think we need to see what Taya's doing, but I think more so like I kind of wish, for instance, I kind of wish we kind of saw what Tristan is doing because I feel like Tristan's fate is actually really sad when you think about it because he's just being forced to work at his dad's factory,
Oh, that is kind of
and
true. You know what I would have loved to
I would.
see, honestly? I would
Mhm.
have been okay with seeing Joey become a successful duelist too.
I would love to see that. I
I
actually
would
would
have
have loved to
loved to
see
see
Joey.
Joey actually
Maybe
be.
like maybe like getting the new dual disc or something. Like I think that would have been really cool to
Yeah,
see.
same here. It's getting the new duel
He
disc,
wanted
maybe
it so
like.
Out of
bad.
everyone, Joey's
That
the
would have
only
been
one
his
that's actually
arc.
pursuing. Like out of everyone, Joey's the only one that's actually pursuing like the dream of becoming an actual duelist, which is what the movie's supposed to be about.
That's something
Or
I
not
find
what the movie's
funny
supposed to be
too.
about, but
Yeah,
what the series is about.
there wasn't too much dueling in this movie, was there? There were like how many duels were there in this movie? Like 4, right? In a 2
Yeah,
hour and
there's
10
like,
minute movie.
which I mean, that's not
I
bad
was
to be
okay with
honest,
that. Don't
because
get me
like,
wrong. I was okay with that, especially considering that the fights in this, the duels in this movie, they were more epic than they had any right to be too.
And that's
yeah, I
true
think.
for any and all Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mhm.
duels, I think,
Yeah.
already. But this one really took it to the max.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I don't think the length is really the issue, just because like they're trying to juggle basically like almost 3 different
Yeah.
story arcs at once.
Yeah.
I
Because
thought they
we
did
have
a good
Kaiba's
job with
story
that
arc,
though.
we have Yugi's story arc, and we have like Gami's story arc.
Yeah, I think that was my problem with it. That's why I had a problem with the pacing because it was juggling like a bunch of bunch of subplot all at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hold on a minute. Is the dog?
but that's oh, one last thing. I almost didn't think that Atem was gonna come back until the very end. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think when they showed that he wasn't coming out of the Millennium Puzzle, like I realized like, wow, he's really not gonna come. He's really not gonna show up in this movie.
No, I was like when he showed up, I was like, oh my god, he actually came back because like at the end of the series, like Atem goes to the afterlife where
Yeah,
so he can finally rest.
right.
So like theoretically, it wouldn't make even if they did rebuild the puzzle, Atem isn't really supposed to come back.
Right.
But I'm guessing he came back because the spirit of because the Millennium Ring started going active again. I think that's the reason why Atem actually came back.
I think it's a little more than that. I also think it's because the entire world was in danger as well.
Yeah, because the entire world was in danger because
of the Millennium
his
Ring.
whole goal was because his whole goal in the main series is to defeat Zork, who is the main I guess like the main evil. Like he's the reason why
I see. And now that evil's back, I see.
Yeah.
So he came back not he didn't really come back because he wanted to, he came back because he actually had no choice.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
But I love how like he defeats them. He defeats the villain using Mahad though. I thought that was really cool.
That's pretty much what I have for Dark Side of the Dimension. I thought it was pretty good. I don't have much of an opinion of it. But like I said, it gave me nostalgia tears, but I don't have that much of an opinion on it. So I give it like a 3.5 out of 5.
For me, well, I have to be biased here. It's gonna be a 5 out of 5 for me. Like,
a 5 out of 5. Really?
Well, here's the thing.
That's an incredible.
I think as a Yu-Gi-Oh movie, I think it's honestly okay. If I were to be like actually critical, okay, as a standalone movie, I can probably say maybe a 3 or a 4, maybe as a standalone movie. Like if you watch it without any context whatsoever, it's probably like maybe a 3.8 or something. But as a Yu-Gi-Oh fan and as a Yu-Gi-Oh movie, I think it's honestly like a 4.9, like at least a 4, at the very least a 4, because this gave us like everything we ever wanted in a Yu-Gi-Oh movie. We finally got like a proper conclusion to all the characters. We got to see the Pharaoh one last time without and I love the fact that even though they brought him back for a moment, he doesn't like come back forever, which I think is actually a very good thing. And overall, it's basically what we wanted, basically.
I like that they also showed him fight Kaiba one more time, even if it wasn't his head.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4.5 out of 5, just because I do feel like it is a really good standalone movie, honestly. And hell, I enjoyed it for what it was. So I can see why you love it so much, though, Phantom. It's kind of like how I feel about the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie, which we are gonna review one day.
Ultimatum has been issued. But yeah, I'd say within the context, especially, of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the show, I would give this a 4. As a standalone, however, I'd still say it's about a 3, because you can pick up enough.
Yeah.
Just enough to understand the stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you know nothing at all about Yu-Gi-Oh!, the art direction, and voice acting, and just the sum of its parts will definitely be worth the watch.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
That's all I wanted to say.
And just like Marty McFly, we are out of time. This is Hollywood 97. I am your host, R the X-Man.
Phantom Magic.
Ram Proxy.
North Ronan.
And we'll see you guys later. Hit that like button. Hit the bell when it's well. You'll be notified when we have a new video. Bye.
See ya.